Hi everyone and welcome to Transparency Tuesdays. Today I'll be talking about wedding planning. The first thing, please get help, please. I can't stress this enough. And to some, this may sound obvious, but now I'm talking to the control freaks like myself. Let me tell you the truth. There is no such thing as no one in my circle can do it as good as I can. What you need to do, because it's always best when you can see it, write down the names of everyone in your circle whom you trust. Then write down next to their names their strengths and use those strengths to distribute the responsibilities. So for instance, maybe you have someone in your circle who's great at keeping time. They're always on time for things. You can use that person to work together with the MCs to make sure that everything for your wedding starts exactly when it is supposed to start. Maybe you have someone who's great with admin, someone who's great with communication. Then you can put those two together so that they handle your RSVPs. For my wedding, I had Mukhao, she's my cell leader. Some of you maybe call it a spiritual mentor, spiritual leader. I call it cell leader. So Mukhao has planned her own wedding. She's helped my cell sister Nomsa plan her wedding. She's had 2 friends who got married. She was involved in that. So basically she's experienced. So she helped me with like the admin of my wedding, from the program, like drafting the program, the time allocation, right down to the guest list. And then within that, it's important to make sure that you don't dump all the responsibility on one person, because they are human too and they will be just as overwhelmed as you are. So I had Mahoto, she's my cell sister, and Peel, my cousin. Peel is great with her communication skills. Mahoto is great with admin. So they were helping me handle the RSV. Peel knows my family, Mahoto knows my social circle. So what Mahoto did with the Google Docs is that right at the end of every guest's name should write a specification. So you had to write there, is this a cousin, a pastor, an aunt, whatever. And what this helped with is the seating plan, right? Because you sort of already have a category and all of that. Then I had my aunt, my uncle's wife. She's a great events planner. She's friends with florists. She knows the right people to get your tables and chairs from. And my wedding looked beautiful because I had her take care of that. For some strange reason, people always trust me with security, not like strength, security. What I mean by that is, for Mukhao's wedding, my responsibility was to make sure that when Mukhao walks down the aisle, no latecomer walks in, because it can ruin the walking down the aisle video. You know, and I was not having it. I was not there to play. If you were late, I didn't care who you were not coming in. We will see you at the reception. You were late. And it worked because that's my strength. I'm great. I'm an authoritarian. I'm great at enforcing things, apparently. But what I learned in being given responsibility for Mukhao's wedding and for Nomsa's wedding as the maid of honor. So what I learned from those 2 weddings is that as soon as someone is given a responsibility for a wedding, it starts becoming their own wedding. It feels like their own because now they're involved in it, you know. So it just brings that much more excitement to people, because what happens is that the people who get to feel like they're part of that whole wedding process and not just the finished product on the wedding day is the bridal party, you know. So giving out responsibilities is not just to help you, but it's to also help people who are close to you feel like they're also a part of the wedding. While we're speaking on people being a part of the wedding, brides, let's not forget the mother of the groom. So what happens, because traditionally the wedding is all about the bride, it automatically becomes about the mother of the bride. Then we forget completely about the mother of the groom. But the thing is, that's her son. She loves her son. So why would she not want to be part of the planning process and the decision making for her son's wedding? You know, and this is also something that I learned from Nomsa's wedding and Mukhao's wedding. like when I looked at the mothers of the grooms, they were involved in the planning. They were heavily within that, and it gave them so much joy. Like, you should have seen them on the day of the wedding. The excitements were on a high because, they wanted to be a part of that. So we had a South African wedding, that's my country, and we also had a Swaziland wedding, that's my husband's country. So obviously, my husband's mom, her hands were full from the Swaziland wedding, but she still wanted to be part of the South African wedding. So I asked her, what do you want to be a part of? And she said she'll do a wedding cake, and also she was helping me with the Swaziland people who would be coming to the South African wedding. And she didn't just give me a list of names, she actually even gave me a seating plan for these people, and she gave everything her all because she wanted to be a part of this. Obviously, at the end of it all, she was tired, but she was happy. While we are discussing people being a part of your wedding, boundaries. So even though this is your big day, you need to bear in mind that your mom, your grandma, your aunt, they have a vision and a dream for this wedding because that baby girl is getting married. It's exciting, and because of that, there will be tension. There might be even mini fights over that, but that's because there's like 3 visions and only one can win, So in order to keep your sanity and maintaining peace in the family, get your groom involved in this. So you and your groom need to sit down and decide what you will not compromise on. You will absolutely not have this, or you will absolutely have this. Decide on what those things are and use that as sort of like a guide to decide which battles are worth fighting and which are not. Because you can ask any bride, listen, there's no such thing as it's my wedding, so I'll absolutely only have what I want. You will have things that your mother wanted and they will happen. That's just how it works with weddings. But in order for you to still enjoy the wedding planning process, just use those boundaries as guides. And then ask yourself this every time something comes up. Is this messing with my husband and I's boundaries? No. Okay, whatever. Let it happen. Make sure you're not getting bankrupt trying to fund other people's visions and dreams for your wedding. You pay for your vision and your dream, pay for what you can afford. If someone has a grander vision for what's happening, they should fund it. You, however, need to be wise with how you implement that. So with me, I did not want a white wedding dress. My friends knew this, my groom knew this, but my aunts wanted me to have a white wedding dress. We're in a meeting, and just to shut them up, I was like, listen, if you want a white wedding dress, you will fund it. So my family can afford quite a number of things, and a wedding dress is nothing. Okay, not only did they make sure I got that wedding dress, they set up an appointment for me with a dressmaker. They found the dressmaker, obviously, and when the dress was done, they picked up the dress. So for my wedding, I was in a white wedding dress. So be careful who you throw that thread to. And finally, it will help you a lot if you keep remembering that everything that is being done is out of love. So going back now to the white wedding dress situation, with my aunt's reasoning is that they didn't want me 5 years from now to look at someone else's wedding with envy. They wanted to make sure that I could possibly have everything so that, years later, I still look at my wedding with content, with gladness, So it's not that they were trying to sabotage me with a white wedding dress. I mean, if you think about it, how is it sabotage for someone to get you a dress, So everything is out of love. Yes, we are very passionate and all of that, but at the end of the day, it really is out of love because your close ones, they want you to have the best day.